right, greetings everyone and welcome back to another great episode of Office Pro TV. I'm your host Daniel Lowry, and in today's episode it is all about Excel 2016 Essentials. So strap in and get ready and prepared, because joining us along this wonderful wild ride that we're on is our good friend Miss Vaughn Smith. Vaughn, we're glad to have you back yet again today in the studio. How's it going?
I feel like I want to be like, whee!
The test track at Epcot.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I've never done that one. We were just talking about
so much fun. So much
Walt
fun.
Disney World and everything, and
Yeah.
so when you said that, I'm like, oh, we were just
You have to
the
experience.
lines are always so long.
It's totally worth it.
All right, well, we're gonna get a fast pass
Yeah.
next time. So, all right. So, anyways, as we're talking about the Magic Kingdom and Epcot, we're gonna be talking here in this episode about inserting data into our worksheets. Now, I use the term data because I really wanted to say like insert text, but of course in Excel,
It's not necessarily text.
right? Yeah. I mean, you can be putting numbers in. You can also be putting formulas. So you're going to be putting in other things besides words into your worksheet. So that's why I use the term data or data, whichever one you want to go with. Tomato, tomato.
That's right.
So which way do you say it?
I think I say data mostly. Data. I don't know. I go back and forth, to
Right?
be honest with you.
It's like when you really think about it, it's like, I don't know how I say it now.
If I'm referencing Star Trek, it's data. Right?
There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect. So we're going to be inserting our contents into our workbook. So I'm going to just start with a new file. I'm going to start blank document. Nope. Blank workbook.
There you go.
I will probably say text at least a couple times in this episode, but we know it's data. Same thing. All right, so let's jump down into here, and we've got Excel docked into our taskbar down at the bottom. So we'll just go ahead and click on this, get our program started up, start a blank workbook right here, and there we go. We are in cell A1 of sheet 1 of book 1. All right, 11111. How do you enter information into your cell? Well, first of all, you do need to have whatever cell you want activated. Right now it's in cell A1, so we'll stick with that. There are 3 ways that you can insert content into. You're like, really? There's 3 ways to put content into a cell? There is. The first one is just have it selected, start typing. Okay? You don't have to click anywhere. That is the active cell. So if I start typing in Christmas cats, you can see that if I can type it correctly, that is where the contents go into the cell. At this point, I'm just going to hit enter. The only reason why I'm hitting enter is, to me, it's not just like move down one. It's also like accept the information that's in there. Like, I'm done. Go ahead and commit the changes to this cell. So I hit enter and it does that. Okay. But you could have just as easily hit the tab key or your mouse click off into another cell. Whichever way is fine. So I'll go back over here to cell C4 now, just because I'm picking random cells, to go ahead and tell you the second way to be able to insert information into this cell. You can double click on a cell. When you double click, watch what happens. You can see that my mouse cursor now turns to an I-beam, and I get the flashing cursor inside of the cell. All right? So when I have it there, I can start typing in Christmas cats. Christmas cats. There we go. And now I've put in that text. Like I said, you can hit the tab key. So just get out of the current cell that you have activated and have your cursor in. And now I've got that text. Cool. All right. So single click on a cell, start typing. Double click on a cell, get the cursor, start typing. Or method 3, get to the cell where you want the information to go into, and then come up to your formula bar. The formula bar is where it just shows the contents of that particular cell. Get the I-beam in the formula bar, click, get that flashing cursor, and now we can type in Christmas cats that I still can't seem to type correctly. And then it will hit the enter or take your mouse and click off to it. So 3 ways, getting in the content, perfect, fantastic, pretty simple. Now what about editing the content of your cells? Because now maybe I want to take cell C4 and I want to change this to say Christmas cats are awesome. I want to edit it. Now if I have my active cell here and start typing, it will change out, it will basically be overriding anything in here. So if I start typing in bunny, you see all the information goes away, and now the word bunny has been brought into cell C4. Now, if you're like, oops, I didn't want to do that, you still have to go ahead and commit the changes. Like, you have to get out of that active cell, or like the typing or inserting the information into that cell to be able to do your undo button, right? Our very best friend in the whole wide world. Control Z is our keyboard shortcut.
Lifesaver.
I like that one.
Yeah.
And then if I click it once, notice then it goes back and changes it back to Christmas Cats the way I wanted it.
I love when I accidentally lean on the keyboard and things are disappearing and rerun. I'm like, oh no, what's that? Oh, I have controls. Or yes, just
Undo.
There we go. Undo.
Undo.
Yes.
Yes. And you do have a drop down right here next to it. So if you had a lot of undos to do, you can pick like which one and how far back you want to go in there. And
That's a little history.
Yes, yeah, it's just like history in Photoshop, so where you can pick to what state you want to go back into. So quite nice in that little drop down. So if I wanted to edit this cell and not type over the information, remember that double click? When you double click, you can get that flashing cursor into the cell, and now you can go ahead and move around within this just like you would anywhere else. So if I say Christmas Cats are cool, there we go. Hit enter to accept the changes. You can see that. Now, I do want to point out something pretty important, that I inserted the information into cell C4. Sorry, with the zooming in here. But do you notice how it goes over, that looks like into column D and column E? But the thing is, the information doesn't live there. Okay, if I click on cell D4 right there, notice up in the formula bar, there's nothing in there. Same with E4. But clicking on C4, that's where all the information lives. Because as long as there's nothing next to it, like in another one of those cells, like in column D or E, then it's just going to go ahead and like show over all of our other columns. It's when you start getting into, hey, I've got information in D4 now, that it will cut it all off, and you're going to have to make a decision of either making the column wider to allow you to see more contents of that particular column, or you get into formatting your cells with word wrap, to where it goes to the end of the cell and wraps around, kind of like how you have in a Word document where you have that automatic word wrap. There isn't, you have to tell it to wrap within the cell. We'll get into all those different things. We modify our workbooks. I think it's called Modify Worksheet. That's what I'm naming that episode. So, filming in succession in the way that I plan on doing it. So, anyways, we've got those different ways that you can edit this cell. Now, since I just mentioned the formula bar, right, there was that 3 ways of inserting. This are 3 ways of editing. If I wanted to come up to here with a selected cell, Christmas Cats, okay, let's just take out some of those O's in there and just say that they're just plain cool. So click up in the formula bar. Notice you have these buttons next to the formula bar for like accept or cancel. So if you wanted to, you could click that. Notice that it keeps the cell activated, or at least that's the selected cell, but it commits the changes. I've been showing you or saying go ahead and hit enter or tab or click off of it, which is the same way as well. There is a shortcut though, because this is one of those things that when you start to use Excel a lot, you do things where you're like, oh man, I wish there was like an easier way to do that. And this was one of them, to where I didn't want to have to take my mouse and double click to activate the flashing cursor in the cell, because if you've already noticed, I like to use the keyboard to navigate around. So if I get into cell A1 but I want to add in text into here, I don't want to have to double click. So to activate your cursor into the active cell, the keyboard shortcut is F2. I don't have an F2 key on my keyboard, so I can't demonstrate that. And you actually can't see me clicking on the keyboard anyways. So
just do it like this, and I'm clicking on the keyboard, see?
And so let's pretend here, F2. That was not my mouse clicking twice.
Not at all.
So now I've got the cursor in here, and then I can use my arrow keys. Christmas, yes.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't want it there, so let me go ahead and backspace and then move my cursor, by my arrow keys to move over and say Christmas cats are the best. And then hit enter. So F2, I love that shortcut. This is also not just an Excel thing. It's where if you wanted to rename files in your Windows environment, you can just hit F2 on the file name and it will go ahead and activate to rename the file there.
Now, Vaughn, this is something I'm looking at your screen. You're typing stuff, and you've got the Christmas cats are the best. This is something that's always confused me about Excel. That Christmas cats are the best is like moved over into columns A, B, and C, but it's not really in B and C. Is that correct?
Yeah, we just talked about that.
Yeah, it just wigs me out.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me.
It's one of those things to where as soon as like you see this, it's like, okay, that's fine. And if you don't type anything else, it's when you do things like this. I go to cell C1 and then say like, hello, and now it's cut it off.
Right.
Yeah.
So how do I click B1?
B1 is there.
All right.
But it looks like there's information
it does,
there.
right. That's what
Yes.
freaks me out.
Yeah. Always look at your formula bar.
Okay.
Yes.
So the formula bar is the king of this land.
Yes.
Whatever it says goes.
That cell right there, if there's something in it, you'll see it in the formula bar. Because if I click on cell A1, you can see that it's in there now. Click on cell B1, it's not there.
That's true.
In C, there is there. But that is really confusing, and that's when we get into merged cells.
Yeah.
So when you have merged cells, you're taking multiple cells and combining them into one big cell.
Okay.
So sometimes it's like, well, I'm selecting here. Here, let me show you. In Christmas Cat's example, and we're going to need this file anyways.
Well, there you go.
So here, if I come to this, it looks like Christmas Cats, and it's like all centered. But if I click on this, notice that the selection box goes all the way around. And it says A1 in my name box, and it says Christmas Cats Weekly Sales, but this is one cell that has been merged across columns A through H to be one big cell. So that's where just kind of watching where are my borders around what is my active cell, what is in the formula bar. Like this is another example of a merged cell. So here we have from, it looks like F14 down through H16. That is acting as one cell, but it spans across all of them. So always watch the formula bar. And like right here, representative weekly sales. See how the sales kind of hangs over, but it doesn't live in I. It's just, it just is.
So if you started typing in there, it would kind of like shove the, what is that, ES out of the way, and then kind of cover it. Oh, okay.
And this is where you need to, you don't have enough space for that column because this is a spreadsheet. It is in a tabular format. So if I need more space in that column, I'll just show you right now, but we have a whole episode on this. You come up in between the column references. You see you get the line with the two arrows. You
do.
And you just click, hold, and drag, and then I can make that bigger.
You have just like changed my life when it comes to Excel because that was one of the things. I know it seems simple, but it always was confusing to me. I was like, how do I get this to resize and always show me the correct size? And now I know it's this crazy little back and forth arrow thing.
And I'll show you another trick while we're here.
Oh, what the heck, right?
Yes, yeah, I'm like, you're like, yay, this is amazing.
You're in a giving mood.
Yeah, I am. So right here, now in this example, we know that Christmas Cats are the best is in cell A1, and hello is cutting that off. I could click, hold, and drag, because we know that now coming in between column A and column B, if you just double click, it will automatically fit the column to be as wide as the largest or longest value within that column.
Where have you been all my life with this information? I swear, I needed this a long time ago.
Well, you know, you're scheduled to be my host for the next 2 weeks,
Well,
so I got more for you.
I'm going to learn a lot about Excel, then I can't wait.
Yeah, but the thing about this is where if you had something else, if I had, you know, boy, now that column is wide enough.
Is that wide?
Yeah, it will go as wide. But you could change it to where I could have some of it hanging over and everything. So you don't have to. Sometimes when you do that auto feed, people are like, oh, it's great, but you might have something super, super long. That's where if you could, you can start like merging, and then you can change the column size of that one column A, because now when you have it merged, it's going across multiples.
Now, can I blow my mind even farther? Can I make the row fatter and just have the text like go underneath it?
Yes.
Oh, man.
Okay. I'm giving you a little
stealing
preview.
the thunder.
That's all
Yeah,
right. You know what? You know what? We're on a roll.
Yeah,
This
what
isn't
the heck?
scripted.
No.
So if we go ahead and do here, I make that column smaller. Come over here between the rows, between the 1 and 2, click, hold, and drag this down. You're like, oh, wait, there's one more though. Okay? It doesn't wrap, does it?
No, it didn't wrap.
That's where word wrap is not on by default, remember?
Oh,
So
yeah.
if I select the cell, you see that wrap text.
I love it.
Wrap extra long text into multiple lines so you can see all of it. I like their description of it.
They did a
Never
very
actually
good
read it. If I click it, that's how you
We can call this a show as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I'm done. My mind's blown. I'm ready to go. I just want to start playing with that now.
and scene.
And scene, that's
We're
right.
not done though. But that's pretty awesome,
Very
right?
cool. Very cool.
Very cool. I'm glad I could help.
Well, thank you, Mom.
So we've got all the different ways that we can insert text, and naturally being like, now I want to kind of fit it into there. And we have some other tricks and tips when we get into our modifier worksheet episode, but I'm glad I can
Little
go
sneak
ahead.
preview.
Yeah, and there's a couple things that we always kind of go over more than
overlap,
once.
yeah.
It's just
Happens.
it's just the nature of the beast.
That's right.
So, but getting other information into our worksheet, let's talk a little bit about copy and paste. Something that is near and dear to probably all of our hearts. You know, if it's already somewhere, why do I have to recreate it? But just to throw out here that this is Excel, and talking about this tabular nature of this spreadsheet application, it doesn't always work just like what Word is like. You can take it from the internet, you can take it from PowerPoint, all this stuff, and just throw it in there because it's like a big piece of paper necessarily. Here, it has to fit into this grid that we have, and so some information it might not work as well as others when you're copying, especially from websites. You're not going to get a very good paste into here because of the HTML. Now, if you're selecting something that's already in a tabular format because you do have tables in HTML, then it might copy over perfectly.
Yeah.
So you might be like, mine worked fine. Well, that's just the way the web page is organized into there. So I have our Christmas cats example. Right? Let's say I need some information out of this worksheet into our other workbook. So we're going to click, hold, and drag. We're going to select across here because I would like to get just the weekly sales and the daily totals to be put into that other workbook. So we click, hold, and drag, and we copy. Now you notice that you have the little running ants around your area right into here. So I know that this is the thing that I have either copied or cut. Now even if you did cut right here, it's still going to show up here. It doesn't like disappear until you paste it somewhere else, and then it goes away. So I'm going to copy. I'm going to switch on over to my worksheet, and I'm going to just pick a random area. We're going to go with H3 just because. Now I'm going to paste. You can either right-click, you can Control-V to paste. I'm going to do Control-V for now because I want to talk about paste options. Okay. Paste options are, well, options of what you want to do with pasting.
You like that honey-looking glue, the white Elmer's glue. You got many paste options.
Yeah, or the rubber cement
Oh, yes.
that you dry on your fingers and peel off into those little balls.
Yeah.
Right? Okay,
We're
so
such children.
we really are. Well, right here, you can tell really quickly. Whoops, that's the wrong one. Here, Alt-Tab. There we go. This doesn't look the same. What's going on here versus over here? We have what are known as themes. Okay, there's a theme applied to the Christmas cats example that is not the same thing as here. But when you paste, it's defaulting into the destination theme rather than the source theme, which I believe in Word, it's always like it takes the default of the source. They're all about the paste options that you can change, and it's in the actual Excel options that I can show you where. But the cool thing is we've got our little paste options smart tag. Okay, so we have this smart tag over here, and I'm going to scroll over a little bit and down so we can kind of get that in the shot. So if I click on here, notice that it has this drop down as to where there's a lot of different ones. Like in Word, there's only like 3 or 4 options. Here's like, what's going on here? You just go ahead and hover over them. Notice that right now, this is just regular old paste. But if I have this one, okay, formulas versus number formatting versus keep the source format. Let's start with that one. I want it to look exactly like the other one. You click on source formatting, and then it turns into that font and the colors. Now you're like, whoa, wait a second. What just happened here?
It went crazy.
You know, it's funny that you mentioned all of like how do I see everything in that column. This is an example of where the numbers, there are numbers number sign
Yes.
that live in the cell, but the column isn't wide enough to be able to show all the information.
Oh.
That's what that means. Okay, so if I, just for really quickly, if I make that bigger, whoops, that's the wrong one. How about this one? See, then it shows up.
Oh.
It's saying that I have numbers in here, you just can't see them right now.
So it's just like symbolism to say there are numbers in here because here's the little number sign letting you know. I just can't fit it all on the page.
Correct.
It's interesting that they do that instead of just giving you whatever it can fit into that cell.
Yeah, because it can't change, it's not going to change the size of the font just to fit in it. You have to fit the column to the information.
Gotcha.
And it's not a hashtag, it's an actual number sign. So we've got that going on there. Okay, cool. So that was just a couple of the paste options. Now my paste options have gone away, which is fine. We could always undo and then undo again and then paste it again to get back to where we were. Because there's a couple different things going on here. I'm just going to keep the defaults for now and click off it because there are things known as number formatting and cell formatting within your information. Now we'll talk all about how to get it into this format, but this is a number format, this is a style, this is bold, this is a style, all of these different things of how this looks different than just typing it all in. And that's why these paste options have these. If I clicked on formulas, it's going to retain the formulas, but everything else goes away. Look, all the bold goes off, all the fonts, all of the number formats, the decimal places and everything, the dollar signs, that stays away. But the formulas, look at there. If I click on that one, it says sum of I4 through I7. Okay, that's not just 140.13. It's a calculation. But if I come into here, sometimes you don't want it to retain the formulas. I just want the values. I want that to be 140.13 and have nothing to do with the calculation. If I click this one, doesn't look any different, but clicking on that and looking at the formula bar, it is no longer a calculation. It's no longer a formula. So you can keep the paste values instead of how it got there. Whatever it says in the cell, that's what I can do. And then, of course, all those other options would be for, do you want to keep the formulas and the number formatting? Do I want to keep the source formatting and everything all there? We did that one. There's a couple more of like the values and the source formatting. Okay, so you have a lot of different options. And when we start getting into like what it actually means to have these different formulas, it will make a difference to you. So. And I'm just going to paste one more time. And notice that my copy, let me back over here. I keep hitting the wrong one. Sorry, guys. Go there. Alt. Okay. You see how my running ants are still there? That means it's still remembering that copy. So it's going to stay on, and I can just keep on pasting until I'm ready to cancel that or select something else. All right, so if I come over here, and that's just over there for a reason, and I'll tell you in a second. All right, so if I come back over here, I'm using my Alt tab. If I want to cancel, like, hey, let's stop thinking of this as my copied or range of cells, you just hit the escape key, and the running ants will go away. I had people in class like, I don't know, these running ants won't stop, they won't go. I'm like, it's okay. It's just letting you know it's still remembering the copy. Just hit the escape, like, that was what, okay, I'm done. That's all I wanted to know.
I'm good to go. Don't need any more tutelage. I know Excel like the back of my hand.
And it was like, these were when I was teaching like whole day classes. I'm like, but it's only 9:30. I got
I'm
so
good.
much more. So, and there's usually another moment like, oh, okay, that's good too.
Yeah.
All right, wonderful. Now, if I can insert information into this worksheet, I also wanted to talk about deleting the information out of the cell, and specifically here, because I want to show you how deleting the contents, like let's select over here, and this, I'm just going to hit the delete key on my keyboard, not the backspace key, but delete, and then it takes all of that information away. All right, simple enough. Let's try this one. Select this, same thing. There's my delete, and like, oh, wait a second. But it kind of looks like things are kind of hanging around there, aren't there? Right? We see all the pink lines. And if I came into here and typed in 8 and hit enter, oh, wait, it's typing it as $8.
So is that formatting?
Yes,
that
it is.
Does that?
The cell formatting and all of the styles, everything is being retained. So when you're deleting by using the delete key on the keyboard, you're only deleting the contents and not the formats of the cells. which can drive people crazy. They're like, it will not stop typing in $8. I want it to just say 8. That's it. You got to get rid of the formats.
So you uninstall Excel. That might be a bit extreme.
People will do that. I just close down Excel and I start all over. I'm like, oh, no, you don't have to do that. So I'm going to do a Control A to get everything selected. I want not just the contents, I want everything to go away. You see over here on the Home tab, there is a clear. Delete everything in the cell, or just remove the formats, or the contents, or the comments, or the hyperlinks. You get to pick. So I could, this is another one, I could keep all the contents, but just take out the formats and watch what happens. It's all still there. It's like remove formatting in Word.
Yeah.
It's fantastic if it's like, I don't like the way it came in, I want to redo it. But if I wanted to really get rid of all of these contents, like get rid of everything, you go to the clear all. When I clear all, okay, now if I type in this, it will be 8, and it's not $8 anymore because I removed the contents and the format. So that's kind of a big thing to know about. It's, again, one of those small things, but it makes all the difference in the world. One last thing about copying and pasting, because we were copying and pasting from Excel and talked about all the different paste options with like the values, keep the number formats, don't keep the number formats, source, blah, 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 blah. Copying from Word. Yeah, well, remember, Word and Excel are not the same type of programs, are they?
But they're made by the same company, Vaughn. So they've got to work so well with each other.
Well, they actually do a pretty good job.
They do a pretty
I will
good
say that. So in here, in Word, I have paragraphs. Every time I hit the Enter key, I have a new paragraph. So I have character formatting, I have water as H2O, and I do have some of that like local formatting or source formatting that I can pick or choose. I'm going to select these paragraphs. Okay, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 paragraphs. I'm going to copy. I'm going to do Control C. You're just going to have to trust me that I did that. Come back over here to Book 1, and I'm going to click in cell G4, just because I did not double click. I'm pointing that out to you. I just do a Control V, and what did it do? Oh, every time there was a paragraph, it put it in that cell, and anything that was in that paragraph goes in there, and then the next paragraph is in the next cell. Same thing here, and man, I'm so glad you asked me those questions because it's tying right into everything I'm doing. It's almost like you planned it.
Yeah, but I didn't.
I know, we totally
I'm
didn't.
honest, it was a total coincidence.
So here, it went ahead and pasted that whole paragraph into this cell, and it put the word wrap on it. And it automatically made the column wide enough to fit all of that content.
I like it.
Yeah, so it does play nicely together. And then we have another paragraph. So copying from Word into here, it's going to go like paragraph by paragraph. And that's pretty cool. Now in Word, you do have options to do tables. You can make a table in Word, such as this. If you come up and select the whole table, now think about it, it's already in a column and row format in Word. If you select that table, copy it, come over to Excel, come over to Book 1. I'm just going to scroll down into a blank area, find a place, hit the paste button. It's going to go ahead and put all of the cells in the table and have this table formatted the same way here with like the borders and the font. You do have, let me scroll up a little bit, you do have that paste options here to where you can still do. Now notice here, since it's not like workbook to workbook, you only have, okay, paste with the source formatting or destination formatting, meaning I don't want the font, the size, the borders. If I click that, now it's just text, or it's not text as text, it's cells as cells and just content. So pretty neat there if I have tabular information in Word. But the other thing to show you, I said don't double click. I just single clicked in a cell and pasted. Watch what happens. I'm just going to come over to a random one. I double clicked, flashing cursor. Now if I paste, it put all of the content, even though it was in a table, it just looked at it as like, oh, I'm just going to put that into that one cell and do this. It did a word wrap for me automatically, but that's how it's different than just select a cell and paste directly into it and don't activate the flashing cursor. Same thing as if I were doing the text. If I selected all of this text and I copy come back over into the workbook. Let's scroll down over here. Double click, flashing cursor, paste. It all goes into that one cell.
Oh yeah, that's horrible.
Versus taking each paragraph and putting them into their own cell. So it's a very small thing, a single click versus a double click in a cell, but it does do a pretty vast difference in the result of what you're doing when you're copying and pasting from Word. And like I said, with websites, just...
It's even more sketch.
Yeah, you know, with that one, just make it a picture and put it in there. It's probably going to be a lot easier. And yeah, we do talk about importing web data into Word, which is pretty awesome, but that's a totally different level in what you need to do.
That's a whole show unto itself, right, Vaughn?
It sure is.
All right. Well, Vaughn, very interesting today with looking at how we get data into the cells, how we can manipulate and play with that stuff. Very, very cool stuff. There's many different ways in which we could do that. So I know I learned today. Hopefully you guys learned a lot. I had my mind just, I should have wore a helmet. It was so awesome. And Vaughn, you are an awesome teacher. We do thank you for spending your time and effort on us so that we might be as cool as you one day. That being said, it looks like we are out of time for this episode. We do thank you folks out there for watching. Signing off for Office Pro TV, I've been your host, Daniel Lowry.
And I'm Vaughn Smith.
We'll see you next time.